Hello everybody, I'm Yana from Sydney Visa. Today we want to go over some common questions about business and investment visas to Australia. If you haven't done much research about the Australian Business and Investment Migration Program, we recommend that you first watch our introductory video about business visas to Australia. It is called the Australian Business and Investor Visas Explained, and I will leave the link to it in the description below. Okay, let's take a look at the first common question about the Investor 1.5 million visa. So the general question that we get is what additional business or investment activities should the holder of Visa 188 be engaged in besides the bond investment? Yeah, so we're talking about the designated investment here. This is the most frequent question we have to answer. It constantly worries both applicants and business holders. So the vagueness of this answer to this question has several reasons. Firstly, the applicant signs a declaration. So it's a declaration of intent to continue their investment activities after the end of the compulsory investment period. Right? So note, so it's after the end of. So secondly, over the past 15 years, different states in Australia have imposed different and ever-changing requirements for this additional activity. So the answer to this question is as follows. Only engage in the activities that you promised in your Australian state nomination application. Also, refrain from making any promises in these applications unless someone asks you to do so. Number two is only engage in activities that benefit you personally. Yes, do not engage in activities that are for the purpose of meeting the criteria that doesn't necessarily exist. So you have no obligation to run an unprofitable business or investment, even if you have promised to engage in certain activities. Also, if you haven't promised anything, you can essentially do nothing, right? However, don't take it literally that you don't have to do anything. If you are an active person and not a pensioner, you should at least contemplate an activity of some sort. So keep records of your thoughts, ideas, business attempts, business research, so that you have something to show the state about your intention when you reapply for your nomination for the permanent 888 visa. So your goal is to show intentions to act, not the actions themselves. Another common question is how to prove the requirement of managing a business or investment portfolio. So the main providing document is your own statement, in which you describe your decisions, your actions and instructions on one, like strategic, as well as two, day-to-day operational management. You describe the objectives you set, how you achieve them, what difficulties you have encountered, and how you have overcome them. So do you attach your statement along with quite a number of documents? And we're talking about 5 to 7 each. So this could be references from external persons and organizations that confirm your managerial activities. This can also be your companions, your clients, your suppliers, banks, your business friends, etc. Also, you can attach business correspondence and the letters which you sign as a director. You can provide other business documents like contracts, agreements signed by you as a company director again, and internal company documents such as orders, payment orders, directives, even some minutes if you have those. How to show availability of your assets during a certain period. So the key word here is during. So if we take the standard annual financial report of a company, so the balance sheet consists of two basic documents, right? So the balance sheet itself and the profit and loss statement. The annual turnover figure is shown in the profit and loss statement, and it reflects the inflow of money during the accounting period, so the year. Assets are shown in the balance sheet and present the amount of assets at any given time. and that is at the end of the financial year, be it 31st of December or 30th of June. That is the financial position, be it assets on the balance sheet, bank statement, or property valuation, and it always reflects only one particular period of time. So the question arises as to how to prove that you held assets for the entire year and not just that date. So to do this, you need to show your financial position at the beginning of the period and your financial position at the end of the period, which would correspond to the concept of during. If, for example, you need to show holding of assets by a company for 2 years, you have to provide at least 3 financial positions or balances of 3 fiscal years. If the periods are not consecutive, then you have to provide 4 statements for 2 years. Not only that, if more than 3 months have lapsed since the last date, you must also show the 5th financial position statement. How to prove the ownership and the value of your assets. So the value of personal assets is confirmed by an official valuation by a licensed appraiser. The value of business assets is confirmed by the net assets from the company's balance sheet, which is prepared by an independent auditor. As for audit and the auditor, it can be any outside accountant who has a knowledge of international financial reporting system. The dreaded word audit is only a name for this procedure. Practically, the process for our purposes is reduced to recalculation and a conversion of national, sort of your country standard, balance sheet into the international standard, international system. The financial requirement for my business: do not expect balance sheet. What should I do? Common question. So your business may be operating under the simplified tax system or under the imputed tax system or any other system that doesn't require a balance, sort of a business balance sheet as the reporting document. However, for the purpose of applying for a business visa, you will need to commission a balance sheet as a proof of assets you own through the business. This usually can be commissioned from a licensed auditor who will prepare the required documentation based on your source documents and with accordance with the international reporting system. When do I have to pay? Sort of when to make an investment or to buy a business in Australia? At what stage does this actually happen? So when would you need the money? You are allowed to buy government bond or investment portfolio just before your visa 188 is issued. So when other criteria for these visas are already met and proven, and you have passed, even once you have passed the medical examination. This means that taking into account and advertised processing times for 188 investment visa application is about 20 months. And taking into account other activities such as obtaining state sponsorship, preparation of documents by the applicant and the immigration agent, you can expect to need the money to pay for your investments in about 2 years from the start of your immigration program. At the time of the visa application to the department, the investor will only need to specify the funding of the investment, which could be an expected sale of a property or shares of the business or an expected distribution of business profits. So that's with investment. In case of the business visa applicants, one should not commence business activities at all until one have actually obtained a visa 188. You should definitely not make any investments in an Australian business prior to actually receiving a visa. It is a common misconception to assume that a purchase of any assets, like a business or property in Australia, will in any way affect your business visa. Never buy any assets in Australia prior to obtaining a visa, especially if a vendor is trying to sell you a business or property with the promise of easier migration path or business visa. So such offers are usually a scam. And let's generally answer a question as to what is the difference between the investor visa and the business owner visa. The main difference is the risk attached to your investment. right? So for an investor, an investment amount is fixed at 1.2 or $5 million. And since you are purchasing either a government bond or an investment package portfolio through a managed fund for 4 years, your assets are almost guaranteed to remain with you after that period. The business owner's risks his capital in the full range of risk associated with running a business. So the amount of his investment is not fixed. You can start or buy a business in Australia with an investment of $100,000 to several $1 million. So it will depend on an idea and your ability to execute the idea. The most common difference, of course, is the concept itself, right? So it's an active participation in a business or a passive investment. So it's active versus passive, and there is nothing more really to comment here. This is it for now. If you have any other questions, please ask them in the comment section below. We have vast experience dealing with business visas. We know almost every trick in the book, so please do ask your questions. Email to us, mail@sydneyvisa.com.au, and please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Cheers from down under. Goodbye.